I came across a YouTube video the other day. It was listing out the signs that someone is pretending to be wealthy. And honestly, I had to stop watching because that person was me. From the outside, my life looks pretty put together. I own a home, I drive a car. My kids go to a school that costs serious money. I don't commute to a 9 to 5. On weekends, I'm out hiking with my family, fully present. No meetings, no deadlines. To most people, it looks like I've made it. Time freedom, financial freedom, the whole package. But here's what nobody sees. A few years ago, I made a major career pivot in my 40s, and ever since, our household income has been close to zero. That's not a rough patch. That's been our reality for 3 years. There were moments, more than once, where I'd find myself standing on an overpass, watching the traffic below, and a thought would surface that I didn't ask for. Would it just be easier to not be here? I would never act on that. I have family who loves me, and I love them. But the pain was real. That darkness was real. 16 years of grinding. And what did I have to show for it? A lifestyle that looks impressive on the surface, and a debt load in the hundreds of thousands. So today, I'm ripping the mask off. Because this kind of life, the fake rich life, it doesn't happen all at once. It gets rationalized one step at a time. Every bad decision felt completely reasonable in the moment. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. I'm going to walk you through 8 signs that you might be faking being rich. If you recognize even 3 of these in yourself, stop, reassess, because this pattern nearly took everything from me. And if you want to keep following along as I share more of these hard-earned lessons, hit subscribe. I'll keep showing up with the real story. Sign 1, you're spending for other people's perception. I didn't buy my house because my finances were ready. I bought it because everyone around me was buying. There's this subtle pressure that builds in social circles. Offhand comments, casual mentions of square footage, neighborhood names dropped like it's nothing. And slowly, without realizing it, you start to feel like you're falling behind. So, you set out to prove you're not, even if that means borrowing to do it. What almost nobody stops to calculate is this. When you finance a major purchase, the real cost is significantly higher than the sticker price. Interest compounds. The gap between what something costs and what you pay for it is enormous. The problem wasn't buying a house. Buying a house can be a smart move. The problem was why I bought it. I wasn't making a decision based on my own financial reality. I was making a decision to prove something to people who weren't even paying attention. Sign 2. Your lifestyle upgraded before your income did. When we had kids, we immediately traded in for a bigger SUV. And honestly, it made sense. More room, more practical, easier for family trips. But here's the thing. It makes sense, and I can actually afford this, are 2 very different sentences. When the justification for a purchase shifts from "this fits my budget" to "I need this," that's the moment risk starts building quietly in the background. You're not choosing a lifestyle. You're borrowing against one. Sign 3. High expenses, no income structure to back them up. The most dangerous financial position isn't being broke. It's looking stable while everything underneath is crumbling. Mortgage payments, car payments, interest on loans, cost of living, it all stacks up. And on the surface, everything looks fine. Nice house, nice car, kids in good schools. But the cash flow, razor thin. If you know someone in your life who seems to spend freely but can never clearly explain where the money comes from, pay attention to that. There's a good chance they're closer to the edge than anyone realizes. Sign 4. Conversations about money never go very deep. You've probably been in these conversations. Investing, real estate, the market, retirement accounts. And they sound informed. But they stay surface level. Because a lot of what gets said is based on things people heard, not things they've actually done with their own money. There's a big difference between someone who's read about investing and someone who's sat with real gains and real losses. That difference shows up the moment a conversation goes beyond the headlines. Sign 5. You validate yourself through other people's success. Listen for this pattern. I have a friend who did really well doing this. On the surface, it sounds like sharing useful information. But what's actually happening is someone borrowing someone else's story to fill a gap in their own. When a person consistently needs to reference what others have done in order to feel credible, it usually means their own direct experience is thin. Real confidence comes from your own track record, not a friend of a friend's. Sign 6. You're always living in the almost. There's a big deal in the works. Next month is going to be huge. Long term, I'm completely fine. This one is painfully personal for me. The fake rich mindset is almost always future tense. The money is coming. The breakthrough is almost here. Everything is about to change. But right now, today, this month, the actual cash flow isn't there. It's a story you tell other people. And after a while, it's a story you start telling yourself. Sign 7. You use image as a substitute for real assets. This one isn't from my personal experience, but I've seen it up close. A former boss of mine. Her company was on the verge of collapse, and in the middle of all of that, she kept buying luxury goods. Not real ones, knockoffs, fakes. She wasn't shopping. She was maintaining an identity she felt she couldn't afford to lose. The business was falling apart, but the image had to hold. Because if the image cracked, everything cracked. Sign 8. There are no savings. This is the simplest one and the most telling. No financial cushion, no buffer, no safety net. Because every dollar that comes in gets absorbed. By debt, by payments, by the cost of maintaining the appearance. Nothing gets saved. Because saving would require having more than enough, and that's never quite where things land. When you look at all 8 of these together, a pattern emerges that's almost darkly funny. We exhaust every ounce of energy performing wealth, and in doing so, we make it nearly impossible to ever actually build it. After countless sleepless nights, I finally made a decision. I'm done pretending. I'm not going to keep holding up a version of myself that isn't real. I'm acknowledging the failure. I'm accepting the debt. I'm starting from an honest place. Maybe for the first time in a long time. That's why I'm here. Making this channel, saying all of this out loud. This is how I'm rebuilding. Not just financially, but in how I understand myself and my relationship with money. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. Genuinely. I hope something in here landed for you. Not as a lecture, but as a warning from someone who learned it the hard way. If you want to follow along as I work through what comes next, the honest version, the rebuild, the real numbers, subscribe to this channel. I'll be here, documenting all of it. See you in the next one.